Mr. Mullins.
Aye.
Mr. Gallagher.
Aye.
Commissioner Wilkinson.
Present.
Quorum is present.
As you desire, please stand for the pledge of the invocation. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we ask your presence, especially in this turbulent times. We ask that you be with us in the meeting, guide and direct us, that we do what's right in your eyes and what's right for our county. We ask all these blessings in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you. I did not do a consent agenda this time. We do need to do an amendment to the agenda because we have another special time thing come up that is important. So I'd like to ask that we add to our agenda for a second item, approval for a grant for a school resource officer for the West County Schools.
I move that we amend the agenda, not the agenda amendment.
Okay, I have one motion and a second.
And I will second that.
Okay, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
It'll be the second item on the agenda. Okay, the first item and the primary one for this meeting is a stay-at-home order. I think everyone in the room has a copy of this. There are some 3 or 4 typos that are corrected on these. Those will be corrected before this goes to publication. Amber, you want to talk? How you want to do this? You want to say anything? We have worked diligently for weeks, days anyway, several days, to get this put together. We've used the guidelines of other counties to put it together and doctored it so it fits our county more precisely than those other counties' paperwork would have done. It's important to us that we not kill our business. That's our lifestyle here in the county. Amber's primary interest is, of course, health. Mine is health and safety and the economy. So we work together on these things. I think we've done very well. I did notice that our attorney says that the word outline's got to be ordered. So that's one thing I'll have to change back on these topics. Every time you see the word outline here, will become the word order. It's important that we do something to protect our people. I want to get a little bit personal now. I was scheduled for surgery middle to late April. They moved that up. I'm going in for surgery the day after tomorrow. And they moved it up because BJC's system knows that they're going to have a tremendous influx of people in the last half of April. And they need the bed space I would be occupying at that time to take care of those people. So they've moved up all surgery for that. Mine is not life-threatening surgery. It's not anything to do with the cancer I used to have, anything like that. I know rumors will be out. But I'm just saying that I will be down and out for a couple of weeks, and BJC is very concerned that they preserve all hospital beds until that time. So I just want you to know why I'll be out starting Wednesday and be out for a week or 2. And I want to stress too that BJC is concerned about this, very concerned. I've had several people from the medical industry contact me today and before. Some of them pleading that we do something, that this is coming, it's going to hit us. We are not New York, we are not those heavy states that have this tremendous issue going on, but we are a destination county. We're a county where people come for goods and services. We don't want them to pick up something here and take it back to those other counties. So we need to protect ourselves, them, and our people, and ourselves. So that's the reason we're doing this. We've tried to make it, as I say, so business friendly as we possibly can. You see, I think there's 45 or 46 explanations of people, or whole groups of businesses that are considered essential and allowable in this. So I guess open it up for questions. Yes, sir.
I hate to make you do this, but your technical changes, we need to approve those in mass. So if you would run through them, and
Okay.
before we do the bill, you tell us what the technical changes are, then we will proceed to authorize.
You speak of typos?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you for
They
telling
call
us
those,
that I'd made
we
some
don't call
typos.
typos, we call them technical corrections.
Yeah, right. They're
That's right.
typos, believe me. Okay, page 2, there are 2 items. In the third line of print, the word non-residents should be resident. Take out the CE and put in the letter T. Halfway down through, the paragraph starts at restaurants and retail food establishments. The last line says with his order. That should be with this order. The letter T again. 5. Item 9.
And Harold, we made note that we were still working on this draft as of a half an hour ago.
Well,
So,
we're stepping in
and
the-
then we just read back through it and started picking these things up. Go ahead.
Page 5, item 9, motored vehicle sales should be motor vehicle sales. Page 6, item 12. Now this is my computer did this one. I typed in hardware, but it corrected to hardwood. So hardware stores. I'm gonna blame somebody else for that. I think that's it, with the exception of that change from the word outline to order throughout. No, that's everything.
Let me back up here, the first one there, residence, resident.
Resident,
Actually, it
rather
should
than
be
residence,
residence.
on page 2, third line.
When outside their residence.
If visiting the county as a non-resident.
Maybe a different word. To the extent individuals are using shared or outdoor spaces when outside their residence, they must all, at all times be, but rather than resident, it should be residence maybe? Resident?
Resident, non-resident. This one came from an attorney.
It doesn't say non-resident.
Yeah, well, it does in the right place. Third printed line, section point
Page
3,
2,
101.
third line, first paragraph.
If visiting the,
I'm down the next one with, when outside.
Oh, you were
their
speed
residence.
reading, okay. Okay, now, let's have a motion to correct those typos, okay?
I would move that we clarify the typos, approve, or
Okay.
the typos.
And I'd second that order.
Okay, I have a motion to change, and I have a second, to change those typographical errors made by the keyboard. And all in favor, aye?
Aye.
That's a transference of blame, but that is. Okay, now, how else should we work? Any
Now,
questions?
you can make a motion to accept it,
Okay, yeah, we need to work out a
and then second,
motion.
and then you can have discussion.
Okay. Do I have a motion to accept this as it is now?
I move that we accept the outline as presented and call it St. Francis County Order Number 033020.
Of course, okay,
And I will second.
okay, now, before I go to vote on that, do I have any comments or questions?
Can we read it out loud and?
You wanna read the whole thing?
Everybody's got a copy.
It's gonna be available on our website
Yeah,
immediately.
yeah, well, as soon as we can do that, I'll have to correct.
the typo, once the typos are correct, or the.
I'll have to correct these, keyboard supplied errors, yeah. And
Yeah.
get that out, and I'll get it to Dano, and get it to the health department, and Corey, and of course Mark, and the other media people.
But you can ask for discussion.
Yes, and any discussion, questions, or comments?
And note that it now goes into effect on the 3rd.
Yeah, let's look at that. It does go into effect at midnight on April 3rd, that's this Friday. That gives people time to talk about it, to look at it, to see if they fit in the exemptions, whatever. If it's not, gotta do it tonight, or next hour. And then, Amber and her group will be watching every day.
Yeah, you didn't put it, originally, we talked about a 30-day sunset or continuation. We're gonna review it every day so we can stop it in 12 days, 15 days,
If it's
2
not
months,
anytime.
whatever so it's gonna be reviewed daily, whether it should be, and we may come back online gradually. For example, we talk about the restaurants, we may say, okay, now you can seat people, but you can only do every other table and that type of thing. So there may be a gradual, it may not just be done, so is that still your
That's,
intention?
and that'll be taken on a as-we-go basis. And the quicker people work with this and get it stopped and get the curve changed, the quicker we'll get off of this. So that's the incentive to do this thing. Yes, Mark?
You mentioned earlier, maybe I misunderstood, here it says stay-at-home outline, and you said that had to be changed to stay-at-home order.
It's an order. An attorney,
Maybe you mentioned
an
that.
attorney mentioned that one. Dan?
Just add one thing, mainly for the news media, that we need to let the public know that
911 and dispatch center is not the Corona police, because we're overwhelmed with calls right now, and I suspect people are gonna be, hey, my neighbor, he's leaving the house right now, and we'll get inundated with calls that we don't need.
They need to call the health center.
Yes.
Call the health center with complaints.
And I'm mainly for the news media's benefit,
Yeah.
if I can get that out to the public.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's another thing we point out. I know the health center will be going around checking. We've had a couple businesses where we say that it's for appointment only. Well, if they show up to business and it's open and people are just browsing around and everything else, it's gonna be problematic. Whereas if they go, the door's locked, and it says for an appointment, call this number, and then when you get inside, you have to use Perel and everything. That is that's what they will be checking on before we even bring any type of misdemeanor or law enforcement
I
like
can
that.
see the sign on the front door now, for entrance and special deals, call this.
And then special deal, today's deal.
Yes, it's 573
1947.
431-1947.
What, I'm sorry?
1947.
Don't tell them why I know that.
They can
Yes.
also submit questions, concerns via our website as well.
Kristen?
I just skimmed this a little bit, you know, obviously I
Yeah.
haven't had time to read through the whole thing, but as far as this building goes, is it gonna be where the lobby's locked out to?
It's basically
But
that
the
now.
reason why I'm asking, because, I mean, yeah, the offices are individually locked, I've probably, last few times, well, I was off a little bit last week, but the last few times, there's been numerous that I've had to kind of correct and explain and have them exit the building, but they're using the bathrooms, they're, you know, touching everything in between the doors, and, you know, you got your staff still, I just wondered, I didn't know if they were gonna be.
The reason we've done it this way, there is a Missouri Supreme Court decision that says, quote, "The courthouse must be left open." Well, people equate this to the courthouse, these two buildings. And so rather than create problems in that manner, to possibly violate the Supreme Court ruling, we've done it this way. Now, again, each office has a sign on the door, here's how you contact us.
Correct.
But that's a good point, though. A lot of people, as you said the other day, call the office, if you would, before you come, and we can tell you if we can answer it over the phone, or if you really do need to be face to face.
Practice safe calling. Anyway,
Commissioners, you're being pretty cavalier about all of this. It's a serious subject.
It is serious.
What is the, if someone violates this, what is the recourse?
that's in here. And toward the last page.
It is on the last page. I wanted to hear it from you.
Okay. Section 4.02 enforcement. Violation of or failure to comply with this outline is a Class A misdemeanor. So, it's, yeah, it is.
Punishable to up to 1 year in jail and $1,000 fine, or both jail time and fine. So if, I saw where there was one, not in this area, but somebody, they had to go and stop, he was having a fire, and, you know, a bonfire, and had 60 people, and the police came and told them to disperse. They didn't, they arrested them. So, I mean, it can be done, when people just are not complying.
I had a call this morning from a director of a non-St. Francis County medical area, but they have employees that live in Clark County. And they found out that some of their employees went to a bonfire, I guess, this weekend or whatever, lately. And they want to know how to do that. I wasn't sure how to put bonfire in this.
Well, it doesn't matter, it's a public gathering, I mean, it's a gathering of more than 10 people.
Yeah.
So,
So they were concerned about that. She said we can limit them from leaving at lunch to go out and eat somewhere, but we can't limit their weekend stuff.
Is it on page 8, the I, essential travel means necessary to serve any of the following purposes? And that's, what's, I guess, acceptable? Is that a right word? Is it
You mean, what was it?
essential travel that's allowed, I guess you could say?
Yeah,
That's, those are the.
For medical reasons and to take care of the elderly and essential business and educational institutions that comply, place of residence, in or out of the jurisdiction. Yes, yes, Mark.
Actually, when he was out there on page 8, you got essential travel means travel means travel. So, I think that's what he's talking
What
about.
it says.
Okay, yeah, you're right, another typo. So let's do a special, motion on that.
I would move that we add to the agenda, clean up the means travel law.
Okay, thank you.
I'm not clear what we're clearing up.
Page 8 right here, means travel is repeated.
Letter I,
Page 8.
Okay,
paragraph
Okay, we're
I.
gonna strike one of those means travel.
I got you.
Okay, I have a motion to strike that, second.
motion to strike and second.
Okay, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Thank you, Patrick. Any other questions, comments? And like Lou said, this is not a joke.
I'd like to hear comments from Amber concerning the current situation.
Update, please.
Is it okay for me to sit
Yes.
here, or you want me to come here?
Well, if this is being recorded live, so why don't you come up here,
Sure.
and we'll give you some space.
Kevin, will you move away?
Yep.
Hello. So as probably many of you know, we do have 5 cases of coronavirus COVID-19 in 5 St. Francis County residents. So when we report cases, that means those are actually people who live in our county. It's fun around there. Okay. So most of those are healthcare workers. So 3 of those are people who are healthcare workers that work outside of this county. None of those are connected. Those 3, none of those people work together. Our most recent case does not have an exposure. So that means that as of right now, they have not traveled and they have not been in contact with a confirmed case. So that is concerning, but we're still working on that investigation. And then one of our cases was in connection with the Bonterra wedding exposure. But yes, this most recent case is concerning because we do not have an exposure at this time. 3 out of our 5 cases have required hospitalization. 2 of those are still hospitalized at this time. So, you know, it is very concerning. We are doing disease investigation and surveillance every single day. And we're not getting people who are pending, we are not getting those anymore from the state or from doctors' offices, not on a consistent basis. Because they're not required to do that. They are required to report positives only, and now they are required to report negatives to the state health department, so not the local health department. But we do know we do have at least 8 tests that are pending right now that we are waiting on results, but we did get 7 negatives in this morning.
They're being hospitalized where?
I don't want to reveal where they're being hospitalized for the patient's privacy. We've had threats, you know, people who've been able to drill down who these people are on Facebook. And those people being threatened, and that is very concerning. We want to discourage that. That will discourage people from coming forward to be testing, so we want to make sure to maintain their privacy.
Do you have the staff to be, for lack of a better term, COVID-19 police?
So our environmental health department right now is our kind of complaint concern department. So they're taking all those and vetting all those concerns because we've been getting calls for weeks now. And then getting those to either the nurses if it's something that, you know, somebody believes they've been exposed and has questions about, you know, what do they need to do next. And then now with this order, we'll be moving forward to enforcing, you know, if it comes to that. So yes, we do. We're all working on COVID-19 in the health department right now. So it's pretty much the COVID-19 unit aside from WIC, but we've all had to make some adjustments in the way we deliver our services.
What's the current attitude of the employees with the health department?
We're tired, but we're vigilant. This is our ball game. This is what we do. We know how to do disease investigation and disease surveillance. We do that all of the time. But they're motivated and they know how important this issue is to our community, and they're all working around the clock to make sure that we do our absolute best and leave no stone unturned to really slow the spread of this disease and prevent that surge to our healthcare system and protect our most vulnerable.
What can the public do to ease your workload?
Rumor control is huge. I know that whenever I left the office, we had somebody calling asking how they were going to get home from work because there was an order that was going to be enacted at 3 p.m. And so obviously there's so many rumors out there right now. But if we get a confirmed case, we're going to let the public know about it. And if we're enacting this order today, we're going to let the public know about it. You can call us and ask questions, but please refrain from spreading rumors or spreading false information, because every moment that we spend dealing with those types of things are moments that take away from investigations with confirmed cases. So that could help a lot.
So this order then would be, so we're calling it a stay-at-home order.
Yes, yeah. The goal here is really that the maximum amount of people are staying at home, but also allowing for those essential businesses, critical infrastructure to continue running. And as Harold said, you know, it's very important. We understand that this order has implications on small business, and I think small business is really the heart of our community locally. And so it's really playing a balance between allowing those things to happen and also protecting the health of the public. So. Anything else?
I do have.
Yes.
Probably not quite that important, but if you have someone who works within 2 different counties, not like I live in a different county, but I spend the vast majority of my time here. If I were to test positive, where would that be considered? In this county or the county of residence?
It's considered your county of residence, but kind of to dovetail off of that. So in that example, if there's someone who lives outside of the county but works here, there's an exchange that happens between health departments when they do that epidemiologic investigation to say, well, Amber Elliott, you know, lives in St. Francis County, but she works in, for example, Madison County. So there's an exchange there where we do that contact tracing. But yes, it is based on the county that you reside in.
Any other comments, questions? Whatever. This is an important thing.
It says I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
The essential activities means activities that are necessary for a person to engage in outdoor activity, including singles, tennis, walking, hiking, running, biking, working in the yard or garden to the extent reasonable, consistent with social distancing requirements, including, for example, walking outdoors 6 feet away from another person. I saw that Farmington's shutting down, they closed their parks, correct?
They close the playground areas.
Playground areas.
They're encouraging people to come out and use the paths.
Okay.
As long as when you approach somebody, you give normal distance. The playground actually got up to about 50 kids at one point this week because the kids are bored, you know, and so they're all taking them to the playground, and unfortunately it stays on that plastic and all the metal that they climb on and things, and that's what they've shut down. They put tape around it in most parks in the county. I talked to most of the mayors today. They're all doing that, but the paths, the walking areas are going to remain open because people still want to go out and get some exercise if they can do it properly. And even though it says one person, the national guidelines, if you're with a family member that you're already in close contact with, then you're okay.
That's in here somewhere. I don't remember.
I was out talking to the golf course about their, and like somebody, they come in and they driven all the way from Annapolis in 2 cars in a cab with a truck, but they were wanting to separate them in the golf carts, separate golf carts. Well, at the time you've ridden here for an hour in a cab of a truck, if you're already exposed, if that's the case. Now, it's good that they're being that diligent at the Crown, that they're putting everybody in separate carts and whatever, and they've actually, just for them and St. Francis, have complied already that you can't take the flag out of the hole because people don't want to be touching the same thing, and your putts bounce off the bottom so that you don't reach in to the hole. Other than that, it's perfect distancing deal.
If a citizen has a question about, well, I work for Mr. Smith or whatever employer, how do I find out if this is considered an essential business? Do we have, how can we, I don't want to be inundated with 1,000 phone calls saying, hey, I work for something, is that an essential business? I don't want to be the judge in a sense, so how do
I think it's defined in here.
Okay, well, there's
Yeah,
always.
it's pretty.
We're also we have a quick list that is also gonna be on our website by the close of business tomorrow, along with guidance and frequently asked questions for all of the sectors in there. So it'll be on our website.
And the employers will certainly want to know that and notify their people that it's all right to come to work because we are a healthcare supplier, whatever.
Yes.
the purpose is.
I'm going to interject you real quick. We've been having some comments on this live. Once we get the corrections from the commission. It will be posted, the order will be posted on sfcgov.org. Again, our website, sfcgov.org, once we get the corrected
Is that
order.
now, is that making your sound?
Yeah, it's going across.
Okay.
And that should be soon. Okay, any other comments before we take a vote?
Does Dan have any more questions, comments?
Was there any other questions coming through?
That was the biggest, that was majority of it, was the, when will it be on the website, so.
Okay. All right, we have.
I do have a question.
Yes, sir.
So I'm assuming this is a decision that's made on a county-by-county basis,
Yes.
not statewide?
No, we are making for St. Francis County, all inclusive of the county.
But that's not, so adjacent counties may not have that on there.
Some of them don't, some of them do.
It's correct. If you look at, there's a website that shows where the cases are. There's 20-something counties that only have one case in Missouri. There's several have no cases. Several of the counties next to us, and they haven't seen, and that's why the governor's statement was different places have different exposure. We're gonna let them decide when the exposure comes up high enough that they think they should have.
It's a county-by-county decision, and your decision is,
And until the governor comes over
Right.
and says, no, we are doing this statewide or doing these actions statewide, they kind of trump us.
One last thing, we clearly understand that this is a very stressful time for all of our citizens in this county. We want to make sure our citizens are safe. I was born and raised here, my 3 kids go to school here, my wife teaches 2nd grade here. I have a vested interest in this county. The decisions that we 3 make affect our families and us as decision, everybody. I've received a lot of emails and phone calls, and I know you have too, from people asking us to shut down the county and people asking us to not shut the county down. I promise you, we are going to do what is best for all of our citizens. We are being guided by our president, our governor, and our St. Francis County Health Department. So please, leave your name and number, and we will get back to you. We received a lot with no names and no numbers. And last, I ask that you please talk to me in a tone that I would talk to you. I know this is hard on everybody, so let us pray for the safety of our citizens in this horrible crisis.
And minimize the threats.
Yep.
Okay, any other questions, comments? I have motion second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Next item on the agenda. We have added this agenda item, and it's applied for a grant for Sheriff Department. Mr. Dan, would you like to come up with it?
As he's approaching, once again, this follows our policy not to break new ground, but as our meetings are not regular right now, when something has to come up timely and it's not anything that's controversial, that's your instruction to let it go forward on a agenda. If it could be controversial, if it's not timely, something we could put off for a month or so, that's what we're making a determination whether something needs to be hopping on this agenda when you have to have one.
And this particular one has a deadline of tomorrow.
That is Sheriff Dan Boyd, and this is the West County School District. The only school district in the county that does not have a school resource officer. They tried to hire an officer and found out they couldn't afford it. This COPS grant was out there, and they thought, well, we'll try to apply for that and get our school resource officer through that grant. They didn't realize that they needed to come and get approval from the county commission prior to filling out that application. Now, they have that ready to go, and the deadline is tomorrow, and they wanted to get approval from the county commission, not to have the grant, not to get, but just to apply for that grant. And so that's what they're asking for at this time.
Do you know if it's a matching grant or a full grant?
It is a matching grant, but they are going to match it through the school district,
Okay.
no cost to St. Francis County or to the taxpayers there.
Okay.
With that being said, I would move that we approve the West County School Resource Officer grant.
And I'd say,
Grant application. Any questions, comments? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay, next scheduled meeting is a new term this coming Monday. It's on the 6th at 10 a.m. And
move to adjourn.
all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you all. Get the taco done.
This one here.
I know, where you been?